3, 2, 1. Are we ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Right. Have I started the recording?
I don't know. Have you?
Yes. I know. I'm such a brat sometimes. Well, it's early in the morning here in Northern California, and I've just finished my cup of coffee and my Mize Pies muffins, which, as you know, are that whole latte and muffin deal is like, as you like to say, all is right in the world again.
Yes.
Phew. I sleep.
Man.
I go to bed at night for the sole purpose of not to get a good night's sleep, but to wake up so I can have that latte and one of those, either those blueberry or whatever this one is. This is what a blueberry, but whatever she makes is.
Whatever the heck's in there.
Whatever is in there is good. So guys, listen, welcome to another episode of the MizePies.com baking podcast, which, by the way, I got to hand it to this lovely, beautiful wife of mine. She can bake her butt off. God, that woman can bake. So go check out MizePies.com, who's not an official sponsor of the podcast, but I'm going to make her one today. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast for Jeff and I, or our job here today. Today, this is episode number 209. For the last 209 days, we are trying to help you reduce your skill level range. One day you play great, think you got the game finally figured out. You go home, hey babe, I got it nailed. Oh yeah. And she goes, or he goes, okay, that's great. And then the next day, boomski. That big fat egg gets laid. And you go home, tail between the legs, don't say a word. And the spouse goes, so how'd it go out there today, huh? Pretty good? No, wasn't so good as yesterday, huh?
Yeah, not so much.
So that's your skill level range. One day great, the next day not great. And our job, Jeff, is to help you bring the bottom up to the top on a day-to-day basis. So every time you go out and play, you have confidence that you know that you're gonna be able to play well on that day. May not be exactly at the top of your range, but it's not going to be far off of it. And that's really where you build confidence in your tennis game. So you could, if you want, to start to take the next jump up the bad boy ladder of going from a 4-0 to a 4-5 to 5-0 to on the tour.
Yes.
And once you're on the tour, what's our commission once these guys go on the tour?
Are we what, 60-40? Is that what we're doing? Or...
Well, I thought you were a little greedy with the 60-40, but now I realize that we actually have to pay for our own food. So yeah, 60-40, yeah. I think. Okay, well, enough hijinks. I never understood what that word meant. Is it hijinks? Is hijinks H-I-G-H and then jinx? Or is it H-I with a J with a dash? Hijinks.
I don't know. I think I may have to do a little word search etymology on that, right? Kind of trace it back a bit.
I see. Well, it's kind of like some of these tennis players who think they can learn to play the game with tricks. Hey, I've got 3 tricks for how to play against the serve and volley guy. Hey, I got a trick for your topspin.
Right.
Do I want to go off on this tangent?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Okay. All right. So that aside, look, we received a great email a couple of days ago from one of our students who we've worked with several times, and really kind of, when I think about gold ball hunting, or I think about web tennis, I think about, or even if I was at a club still, someone would say, well, describe the ideal student. Well, I would describe this guy.
Yeah,
and I would just say, look, here's a guy who just loves the game, and it's just, if you tell me to do this, I'll do it. And I won't try to reinvent anything. I won't try to take part of what you tell me and think that, well, I can only use part of that because for me, blah, blah, blah. No. He's taken the whole thing and he works it. Anyway, he sent us a really great email. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and read part of that email, which is actually going to become our topic of this episode.
Right. So, a few days ago, you did a live webinar where you went through with Joel Drucker, right? You went through a process to kind of help him reduce down to what his one thing probably is, right? What it might be, what he should kind of start to really go all in on and focus on.
Well, and and I mean, he was one of the attendees, right? We had about 45 people on that webinar. So he was one of the guys, and this is why I say he's the ideal student, because he actually took action with the exercise.
So he actually, this student of ours actually had to sign off halfway through, but he came back and he actually finished the exercise the next day. And he figured out as he went through it that, you know what, he's capable of hitting. He's an all-court player. He's capable of hitting, serves and volleys and backhands and forehands, and he feels good about that, and that you can tweak a stroke here and there. But he came down to the conclusion that none of that was the big issue. The big issue for him was belief and confidence. And what he discovered was nothing gives him more belief and more confidence than hitting a clean ball, making clean contact with the ball. So what he did this last few days is he's really made a point of not peaking as he's tracking that ball into the contact zone and really making sure he's all eyes on the ball at contact. And so he says, his confidence has just gone way up. And so, and that's what he said. The big issue is belief and confidence, and nothing gives me more belief than consistently hitting the ball cleanly. Working on this one thing the past couple times out has really paid off.
Yeah.
So
do a deeper dive on peaking, because some people may think it's P-E-A-K rather than P-E-E-K. So, because I think for me, when I'm playing my tournament matches or my league matches,
right.
I mean, when I'm not peaking, I just feel way more confident. So describe for the good folks here what peaking is and why it's not great.
Peaking is a lot of times it's just pre-contact, where your head drifts and your eye focus drifts to where you want the ball to go. And that little adjustment in your head, that movement, actually changes your whole body framework at that moment enough to get you to hit the ball off center. And so how much off center is shot by shot, depending on how much you yank your head, how much you peak. And so if that's a consistent issue, then every ball you're hitting is probably anywhere from 5, 10, 15% off center, which means less accuracy, less spin, less pure, so less power. All those, we can just go down the list of all those things that you're just reducing the probability of hitting the shot you want to hit.
Look,
peaking,
I think
peaking is a big deal.
It really is a big deal, and for me, it's a habit. It's just a habit that we get ourselves into a bad habit of doing it. And for me, the consequence is when I'm peaking, it's because I'm not 100% sure of what I'm about to do. I'm not 100% sure about where that opponent's going to be as I've chosen the target, and gosh, are they going to be there? Like, especially in a passing shot, if I'm back in the baseline and the guys come in, that to me is sort of a big time opportunity to sneak a peek, right?
Yep.
And you haven't even hit the ball yet. Nope. You have not even hit the ball yet, and I remember working with Michael Wayman years ago, and he would say, "Look, this is your tennis ball right here. You get to take as much time as you want. You don't have to get rid of it too early, depending on if the guy's all over the net. You can send the ball back there whenever you want. So there's and when you have that mindset that you're in control, and when you have that mindset that you don't have to look up, then I think that really raises the bar in terms of your confidence. Just like he said, that's when That's when he feels the most confidence, the most belief that he can execute the shot choice that he's just made. I think
Right.
the other thing, the other way to, here's another thing that I love to do, and that is, what every time we make contact with the ball, it makes a sound.
Right.
I mean, there's a real, and there is, in terms of a clean hit. He mentioned I hit the ball cleaner. That gives him confidence. Well, there's definitely a sound depending on the type of shot,
Right.
where the clean ball has a unique sound.
Yes, it does.
And so, what's to say that you couldn't hit some balls and go, oh, that's the one that felt clean. What was the sound? Let me see if I can just reproduce the sound. Don't think about
Right.
all the little moving parts of the technique of that swing. What do you have to do to reproduce the sound?
Right. Right.
Kind of a fun exercise.
Yeah. Receive. We go back to some of the other things we've talked about. Receive and send. So it's a little bit more like catch and release, right? Catch and release only happens when you actually hook the fish, and you bring it in, and then you take the hook out, and then you release it, right? So it doesn't happen just because the fish came by and bumped your bait. That's not catch and release, right? That's like crap. I know I didn't catch it. Okay, so I know it sounds silly, but it really is that. You're out there just pre-contact, and your head pulls, and you want to take a peek as to where the shot's going, and so you're off the mark.
Yeah.
You're going to be off the mark. So yeah. So this was a great update from one of our students.
Yeah. So listen, guys,
Nice to see it.
we would love to help you discover what's that one thing in your game, whether it's excuse me, stroke technique, could be tactic strategies, could be some part of the mental game, and the mental column category is just not, hey, how do I get mentally tough? I know for me, when I went through the exercise, that when I said mental, for me it was well, actually, it was a couple of things. It was, to be really disciplined with that between points routine. But the other thing for me was a specific situation where I'm serving from the deuce court, and I'm serving the guy out wide, and I get a backhand volley. And right now, I've just sort of been just throwing in over. It's kind of like throwing the puck in
Right.
hockey into the corner, and just, all right, we'll just go in there and then we'll skate our brains out to get over there, right? Well, I need to, or what I used to do is be way more decisive with that and play a much crisper volley. Not that I was trying to hit winners, but there was a higher probability that the guy would not get to it and touch it, with me just trusting that I can actually go after this volley a little bit more. And so to me,
Right.
that was that really wasn't technique, because I've got volley technique. So it's not
Right.
that. It's the mental thing in terms of trusting that, hey, man, if you go ahead and you're really kind of confident with this volley, you can do a little more damage. And so that might be something to think about in terms of the mental part of your game. And also there's the physical part, which is, if you're dragging around a few extra pounds, what are you thinking? I mean, I don't know what rational we go, well, I'm more solid on my groundies. I don't lift up as much because I've got an extra 17 pounds holding me down. All right. I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm not believing it, but I got it.
Yeah.
So look, if you want to help us, we've got a great exercise that we can run you through for discovering that one thing right now, that if you were to discover it, work your butt off in the next 30 days on it, you might knock that big domino down, and the other little things in your game that could use some help, they might just get knocked down, just because that one thing. So
Yeah.
the way to do that, we're offering, it's about a 10 or 15 minute call to run through this exercise of discovering your one thing. We are offering it at no cost, no charge. It's free. It's on the house, but you got to schedule it so Jeff and I know when you want to do this thing. The way to do that, go over to goalballhunting.com, drop in your first name, your email address, click the button. You'll get access to our online calendar where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. If you're already on our email list, any email we send out there to you, Gold Ball Hunting, has got the link to get to the calendar as well. Jeff, with that said, did I forget anything?
No. I think it's time to like, share, subscribe, and let us know what you think.
Well, there you have it, right there. Guys, and plus, get out there today, help someone else have a great day. Jeff, let's do episode number 210 tomorrow.
Can't wait.